Hey guys, welcome to Get Busy Watching. I'm your host, Honest Dan. Let's talk movies. In commemoration of the upcoming Wonder Woman 1984, I'm binging the entirety of the DCEU, from Man of Steel to this one, SHAZAM. I've already done a Birds of Prey review. My reviews from Man of Steel to Aquaman should be up by now, so let's wrap this up with SHAZAM. This was a weird release, if I remember correctly, because as soon as this movie was announced, it kicked up an internet storm over whether or not it should be called Captain Marvel. There's legal mumbo-jumbo between Marvel and DC that I never quite understood, but hey, whatever. But I gotta admit, the inclusion of Zachary Levi, that was pretty interesting. I'm an avid fan of Chuck, though I do think he was done dirty in the Thor sequels. This was a cast that I was familiar with and I was really looking forward to. Lo and behold, I really did like this movie, though probably not for the reasons that everyone else may have. Ever since I saw it, it's been hailed as my third favorite in the franchise. Let's see if it still holds up. This is my honest opinion of SHAZAM. Billy Batson, played by Asher Angel, is a 14-year-old who has been looking for his mother for years, whom he's been separated from since he was a toddler. He has to put his search on hold when he's put into a foster home with a bunch of other foster kids and adjust to a more grounded life. That gets put on hold when he finds himself in the mystical lair of the great wizard SHAZAM, played by Jimon Hounsou. He has grown weak and was unable to contain the power of the 7 deadly sins, who have found a vessel to inhabit by the name of Dr. Sivana, played by Mark Strong, who was once a potential wielder of SHAZAM's powers but was deemed not pure of heart and managed to return for the sins instead. Desperate to pass on his powers, he gives them to a reluctant Billy Batson, and when he shouts the wizard's name, he becomes the new SHAZAM, played by Zachary Levi. However, Billy ends up using his powers for selfish reasons that make him less easy to deal with. Yeah, it's still pretty good. It's a bit small scale compared to its peers, but it hits some extraordinary notes. Now I have to spotlight this first and foremost. I get Billy. His drive to finding his mother is something I can really relate to. I myself an adopted kid, and I never met my biological mother. That optimism, that determination to fill in that missing piece in your soul, it's something I know all too well. I relate to the mistakes made, nothing specific to this movie, but I understand the concept of forgetting to see the world around you and taking for granted the great things that are in front of you. My situation is very different, but there's not one iota of Billy that I don't get. And in general, I'm a sucker for adoption and or reunification stories. So for me, the drama in this movie is what makes it. Sidestepping the personal connection, Angel carries the film very well. He's charming, he's funny, sympathetic, and really easy to like. When Levi takes over as SHAZAM, he taps into that Chuck charm and absolutely commands the screen. He's got such a great range of expressions and easily transitions from comedy to drama, though he primarily doles out comedy, and he's fabulous with that. My only issue with this performance is that he doesn't feel like he's Billy, but rather a completely different character. And when this doesn't feel consistent, it can really break the immersion. If he's been running around from foster home to foster home for X amount of years, has no presence on social media, I have a hard time believing that he has any idea what Fortnite is, let alone what the famous floss dance move is. Even if he did, it doesn't feel like something that Billy would be caught doing. I believe Zachary Levi knows what the dance is. I don't believe Billy does. And since much of this movie relies on believing that SHAZAM and Billy are the same person, it just doesn't work when SHAZAM is ironically more childlike than the actual child. Still, if you want comedy, Levi is great with that. Yeah, Dr. Sivana is pretty standard fare when it comes to villains, but he's still got such an intimidating presence that I can't help but like. He just feels so unapologetically evil that it's almost refreshing. He's not hiding behind a happy guise like Zod, he's not over the top about it like Lex, he's more memorable than Enchantress, he's more imposing than either David Thewlis or Steppenwolf, but he's still not as fun as Orm. My only real complaint lies in the designs of the sins. I can't really tell which one's which. I mean, greed and gluttony kind of makes sense. Greed having 4 arms and gluttony being big, fat, and his stomach is essentially just one big mouth. But the others, I feel like they can be easily interchangeable. I know envy is the smallest one, but not seemingly by much. I guess pride makes sense because he has wings and can fly around, but lust with its tongue? That should be a gluttony thing. Lust needed to be sexualized in some way. Yeah, wrath makes sense, being all big and brutish, but sloth makes no sense with all its tentacles. Again, that should be a greed thing. And why is envy the small and useless one? Why wouldn't that be sloth? The whole point of sloth is being lazy, and laziness is often synonymous to uselessness. Still, when they made sense, they were pretty cool. The other kids in the foster home are also a lot of fun, each with their own distinct personalities, and every so often has a funny line. Darla's pretty cute. Eugene definitely got a few snickers out of me. I learned to really like Mary, and of course, Freddy steals the show. What can I say? I love excitable nerds. They're the best people to hang out with. Unless they go on the internet, then they turn into assholes. Sad regression. It also tickles me that this is Jimon Hansu's second DC movie, playing the Fisherman King in Aquaman. Just the voice, but I'm pretty sure he's the only actor who's made sophomore appearances in both the MCU and the DCEU. Remember, he was also in Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain Marvel. He's a silent legend as far as I'm concerned. No, don't say Constantine. Yes, that is a DC property, but it's not part of the DCEU. Though weirdly enough, that does reinforce how much of a legend he is. Someone give this man a starring role. Blood Diamond was clearly not enough. Overall, honestly, I want to like this more than I do. And aside from Wonder Woman, it is the only DCEU movie that came close to making me cry. We'll get into that in the ranking, but for now, I love the dramatic elements, a lot of the comedy lands, and the action can be a lot of fun. I don't buy for a second that Shazam and Billy are the same person. That really takes me out of it. But for the most part, it's a simple, easy to understand outing. But above all else, it's entertaining as hell. My honest rating for Shazam, a 4 out of 5. As for my ranking, no contest. Better than BVS, better than Squad, better than League. But for the big 3, yeah, it's better than MOS. I think within the goofiness, there are some challenging ideas about what family truly means and kind of reinforces my own beliefs regarding the subject. So, I'm gonna naturally have a bias toward this movie. MOS's more challenging themes are not as personal, so I can't say I like it better than Shazam. Definitely not better than Wonder Woman. I think Diana's story arc is just too good. I still love it. You see that growth from beginning to end. Billy, yes, his personality gets some polishing, but it's not as dramatic as Diana's. As for Aquaman, no, I like Aquaman better. Yes, Billy is a much better character than Aquaman, but I'm still gaga over those visuals. The eye candy alone continues to be what makes that movie, and it's still a lot more fun. So, Shazam dethrones MOS and receives the bronze medal. And just in case we need a recap, I do really like Birds of Prey. I do say that it is more entertaining than Shazam, has better visual appeal, and does a lot of fan servicey stuff that I really enjoyed. But because of my personal connection with Shazam, I can't say that Birds of Prey deserves to be my number 3. So, Birds of Prey remains as my number 4 favorite. And there's my complete ranking of the DCEU. Can't wait to see where 1984 sits. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Stay safe and healthy out there. Please wear a mask if you go out. Hope to see you soon.